up? It's Bear League here. We'll come back at you with another What the Puck podcast. This time I want to talk about when I tried out for a Bear League team. This was definitely pre-pandemic. This was with the now gone New England Senior Hockey League, which was known for plenty of fights in that league. You know, a lot of teams I played for: Tukadum, Holy Cow, Puckheads. I subbed in for Express. Oh my God, there's so many teams. I think there was Kendall United, Rogue Squad. No, Mellow Yellow. I'm trying to remember all the teams. Jeez. I forget the Blue Liners, which were all some of Cops. But yeah, so I'm part of this group with email chains. It's basically massgoalie.com, and I've talked about it before. Basically, somebody will put out an ad through an email saying, hey, we need a goalie to play or a goalie to sub at Hockeytown or Kasabooski or in Malden or Everett, whatever, fine. And sometimes they throw money, sometimes they don't, whatever, fine. So I want to say this was towards the end of the summer, around August. And I was working in Revere at the time. And I remember they needed a goalie to play Malden, Everett, Revere full time. So I had emailed the guy, and it was like a Tuesday, and never heard anything back from him. So I was like, okay, whatever. They probably found a goalie. It wasn't until like Friday night, the guy calls me. He's the captain. I forget his name. John, Mike, Steve. He calls me, and he talks to me in depth, and he's basically like, hey, we're interested, but another guy got a hold of me, but I don't know if he can do it because he just said he had a newborn kid and, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, fine. I understand. And he's like, well, Saturday afternoon. Well, let's take that back. Saturday night around like 6, 7 o'clock. He's like, we're having a pickup skate, you know, just to meet everybody and talk to everybody. I'm like, okay, cool, sweet. So I'm like, he's like, can you come by? I'm like, yeah, of course. So I decided to come by after work. And, you know, I was right there. And the rink is right there in Revere. So I was like, okay, let me come by. So I'm doing that. And I get another call from the guy on Saturday, maybe like 4:30. He's like, yeah, there's not going to be a lot of people there. But that's fine. He's like, you'll want to come? And I said, yeah, sure, I'll come, you know, whatever. Skate around, make a couple of saves, take a couple of pucks, whatever, sure. So I go there, and I'm usually there first. So I walk into the locker room, and I'm getting dressed, and then this other goalie walks in. This guy is a construction worker. He's just a fucking refrigerator, just a massive dude, kind of like fat muscle, but just huge. And I'm just like, oh, hey, what's up? A little intimidating at first, but really nice guy. I didn't catch his name, but he's actually a nice guy. And we started talking hockey and all that shit. And then two guys walking together. It's the captain who I was talking to, and then like his like assistant captain, kind of older guys. And then this young kid walks in, like 20, 23. He's got the Justin Bieber haircut, all that shit. So I was like, okay. So it was 2 goalies and 3 players. So we all get dressed, we're all shooting the shit and everything. We get on the ice, and you know, just skating around, we're talking, you know, whatever, you know, stretching. I'm talking to the other goalie, all that crap, and then you know, whatever. And I'm like looking at him like, this ain't a pickup, you know. It's I was like, you know, I went to the guy, the captain. I was like, what is this? He's like, well, you know, it's kind of an evaluation. We just want to see how you are and how the other goalie is. And I'm like, but you probably already made a decision. I knew in the back of my head, and like, they already made a decision. They're going to go with this goalie. And I mean, this goalie really didn't have much skill, but man, he took up a lot of net. He took up a lot of real estate, just being so massive. But he wasn't going down in no butterfly. He wasn't going post to post very quickly, but he was a massive dude. So I was just like, yeah, this is useless. But I was like, whatever. Still, anyways, free ice, whatever. So he gets in net, you know, and he's just a big dude. He's at the top of the crease, and he's just making saves left and right. So I'm like, okay, let me go in. And by this time, the young kid's on the other side of the rink shooting. So I have this like the assistant captain. I forget his name. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna, you know, get to the top of the crease and get ready and get in position. So this guy, I'll never forget. He kind of reminded me of Elaine from Seinfeld, her coworker. who only ate the gum from the Mickey Mouse dispenser, if anyone knows that reference. He had a dead tooth. I have a dead tooth. Not many people get that unless you watch Seinfeld. But anyways, that's what he looked like. He kind of looked like him, and he was shorter. And he comes down. He was pretty fast, and first shot, boom, right in the face. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, okay, fine. So he goes around, circles the net, comes back. I swear to God, same fucking shot, right to the fucking mask. And I'm like, okay, now I'm getting mad. He comes back again for the third shot. I swear to God, I'm not even making this shot. And I don't have a GoPro at the time. I wish I did. Hits me right in the fucking, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Are you serious? Why do you keep hitting me in the fucking face? And this guy, I swear to God, he probably shit in his pants because he was like, it's a stick, it's a stick, it's a stick. And I'm like, yeah, all right. So he changes the stick, right? And then he comes down and he shoots it, and I catch a glove. And I'm like, yeah, the stick. Yeah, that's what it was. But why I said them, like, what the fuck, dude? You could see the other goalie at center ice with the captain. They're like, I'm like, yeah, I don't think I made a good impression right there. First impressions count, right? Nah. So we probably stayed out there for a good like 45, close to an hour, just, doing like shootout drills and talking, shooting the shit and whatever. We retired back to the locker room, and they bust open some Bud Light, and we're all just, cheers to everybody, and we're all drinking. And the young kid gets up and leaves pretty quickly. So it's now just myself, the other goalie, and then these two older guys. And we're just, going back and forth. And I remember they were like, where did you play recently? And I go, well, I haven't been on a team or anything. So I go, I've been playing Stinky Socks in Brighton. And that's when the other goalie kind of laughed at me. And he's like, oh, Stinky Socks. He's like, ugh. He's like, you must not be that good of a goalie then. And I'm like, okay. And I think he was saying it to be funny, but then he's like, yeah, I play Stinky Socks. He goes, those guys don't know how to play and all this shit. I'm just like, all right. And he's like, I used to be on the Predators and, the New England Senior Hockey League Predators, not the Nashville Predators. And then he goes, they wanted me to pay. So I said, fuck that. He goes, I have another kid now, and fuck that. And I work. And it's like, okay. That was the other goalie. So I was just like, okay, whatever. So they started talking to me. They really never made a decision. And we're all just shooting the shit and whatnot. And we all leave the rink together. We all walk out together. And that was it. So maybe that was a Saturday, Sunday, Monday night. I don't know what this guy was on, this captain. He left me a voicemail. I know he was calling me, but I was like, I'm not going to pick up. Because I was like, yeah, no. He's probably just going to give me the fucking, we'll keep you as a sub or some bullshit. So I was like, yeah, whatever. So I was just like, whatever. And he left me this weird, like, voicemail where he was like slurring his words or something. I'm like, what the fuck? I couldn't even, really, honestly, I couldn't even understand him. But I just took it as a, we don't want you. So, yeah, their team was called the Sharks. They were playing in the New England Senior Hockey League, the C4 division, which is a little bit higher than usually what I play in, like the D. I mean, I have played C. I played B too, but, so I was like, okay, fine. So I ended up meeting up with this team called the Puckheads, and I was subbing in for them. And then there was one game that I subbed in, and we were playing the Sharks. And yeah, no, they totally fucking beat our ass. I think it was like 11-1. I was like, oh, this was in Malden. I was like, oh, I got my ass kicked, right? So I was kind of mad. And then maybe like a month later, we got the Sharks again, and I was subbing in, and I was like, oh shit. And I remember we ended up winning like 9-3. We beat their ass, and it was just out of nowhere because I'm like, what the fuck? I thought they were a good team, and they were pretty stacked. They had this one kid who's really good, and he would dangle and try and go bar down and all this shit. And I remember he was coming down my glove side, left side, catcher side, and he like comes down on a breakaway. And at that point, I think it was like 3-1. And I make this fucking awesome save. And he couldn't believe it. He skates over to me. And I remember kept playing the puck. I passed it up to my one of the members of the Puckheads, and they moved the puck up the ice on the left side. And I remember the kid comes over to me. He's like, "How the fuck did you save that?" And I'm like, but yeah, I don't really know too much about the Sharks. I know they won it one year. I think the story goes that they were a team, kind of like an old school team, and they played for a little bit. They won the championship in New England Senior Hockey League. And then they played the next year, and they kind of disbanded. And, people just didn't have people to commit. And then they kind of just, dissolved, like some teams do. Mellow Yellow being an example. One team I was on, it dissolved. And then I think a couple of years went by, and then they decided, let's get the band back together, and they needed a goalie. And that's why they put out that ad. But like I said, in hindsight, this was a tryout. You know what I'm saying? It's a bare league tryout. And I was just like, I'm kind of like embarrassed by it because I'm like, oh, wow. I don't think I was ever officially cut, but they never said, hey, you got the spot. Or they didn't tell the other goalie, hey, you got the spot. I think it was kind of I don't want to hurt his feelings, but that interaction I had with that one player, I don't think I was ever going to be on that team, but whatever. I believe they only lasted that year. And then I played for the Puckheads, and I was playing time with Holy Cow as well. So I believe I was with the Puckheads in Kasabuski. This was maybe a little before COVID. I want to say it was the summer of 2019. I don't even remember the dates. So anyways, I'm in the locker room, Kasabuski. This is probably like the fifth game. I'm only subbing in. It's like the fourth, it's like the third game, maybe the second game, right? And the captain of the Puckheads is like, "Oh, we got a couple new guys," and in walks the captain from the Sharks, and in walks the guy that I had the little beef with the high headshots, and I'm just like, "Oh shit!" They didn't recognize me though. They didn't recognize me. They didn't really interact with me. I don't think they really honestly knew who I was, but they were just like, "Oh, hey, what's up, guys? Hey, what's up?" And they sit with each other on the other side of the locker room and stuff, and again, dressed whatever. We were playing a game against Played Against Sports, and they're a pretty good team. And I'm telling you, I think I was on record for making like 55 saves, and like when we lost like 10 to like 2, we got our asses kicked. And I mean, that was typical Puckheads. They just, I could talk all day about them. But anyways, the funny part was the hockey gods are definitely looking down on me on this one. So I'm at the top of the crease. I believe there was a penalty on the Puckheads, and Played Against Sports threw out another guy. So now it's 6-on-5. They pulled the goalie. So I'm at the top of the crease, and I'm trying to survey the area, trying to make saves. And Kasabuski rink, if you've ever been in there, it's so dark in there. I don't even know how the fuck anyone can see. It's so dark in there. And this was the summer, so the ice sucked as well. So the assistant captain of the Sharks, he was trying to get in the lanes so they wouldn't shoot and score on us. So I don't know how it happened, but he had turned, and it was his side of his ankle. A puck just fucking hit him right in the ankle, and he falls down, stick up. He's on the ground holding his ankle in pain, and the fucking refs are not even acknowledging him. The play is still going on. And I remember the captain of the Puckheads were like, "What the fuck? Blow the whistle, he started." And they're like, "Yeah, no, fuck him." And I remember I tied it up. But I kind of like waited. I was like, but they were definitely doing the tic-tac-toe, so I was just like, I'm like following them. And then the guy's on the ground. He's in front of the crease, top of the crease, just like, I was fucking like, yeah, that's what you get. That's fucking karma. That's the hockey gods going, yeah, this is what you get for shooting the fucking puck on this goalie's head. Revenge is a bitch, right? And I was just dying laughing. I wasn't encouraging. I wasn't like, hey, you are right. I just was like, it's hockey. It's going to happen. But it was just the funniest thing. So I make the save, tie up the puck, and they help him off the ice. He stayed off until probably middle way of the second. He did come back in. We played, and he It was a tough game too. So we go into the locker room and all he did was fucking complain. Like, the refs don't give a fuck. I got hurt. And it was fucking awesome. It was awesome. So that's just one story about New England Senior Hockey League, and I got plenty of them. But yeah, I mean, I played for I tried out, I should say, for a New England Senior Hockey League team, and pretty much I wouldn't say I was officially cut. Like I said, I just think it just didn't pig me. So like I said, that team only lasted like one season. They dissolved, so maybe it's kind of a good thing. So but anyways, hopefully people get a kick out of this podcast and enjoy. As always, cheers.